Okay, chapter 3P3-14 has some interesting geometry. We're going to start to add some complexity to this. So when we see this, we're going to have a couple choices to make. My immediate gut instinct is to draw, since we have symmetry, just to draw half of this and mirror it over, and then put in some more dimensions. You can also use the um, contours and regions to help figure out where these cutouts are going to be. The other option would be to draw this side profile on the right plane and then do the cuts from the front. So kind of whichever one you see, and we'll experiment later on. So this is a metric part. I'm going to go into the front plane, open the sketch. We'll go into center line. I'm going to make it vertical and infinite length and apply that to the origin. So there is a way to back out of the line properties. I think it's easier just to escape and go back into the line. So drawing half of this, I'm going to be up over something like that. We're going to start to get a few more inference lines. I'm not really that concerned with the geometry, but perpendicular in that case, probably not good, since we're going to, and I did kind of a stutter click on that, so it put me in to click mode. So I'm going to just escape out of that so we can continue on with some dimensions. All right, so your choice. If you want to mirror first or add dimensions, I'm going to go ahead and kind of get this scaled. And then we're going to stay in that D for diameter, but really it's a whole dimension versus the half dimension. So 20, we're pretty much there. So that one's going to go to a 90, so we'll just escape out of all of that. And we'll go through the two mirrors. All right, so if I window pick from right to left, it grabs everything, and mirror entity is instantaneous. If I undo this, and we go into mirror entities, and I go from right to left, it puts everything in the entities to mirror, and we really don't want to mirror the center line. So I would have been better off, let's just go ahead and clear selections, would have been better off going from left to right so that what's in the window is picked, and then picking the center line shows me a preview. So that is kind of nice that it gives you the preview before you commit to making that geometry. So we'll throw a 20 on there. We have a height of 5. So I'm going to go between the two lines and try to avoid the angle. The angle is 45, so staying in the smart dimension, two non-parallel lines unless you grab the midpoint. So in a quick escape, and make sure I don't grab the M point again. And then our 60 degrees is off of vertical. And even if we were to pick one of the other ones, I think we could find a decent solution there. So let's see. Oh, the overall, we need to go, and we can set the math. But if I draw that as my contour, and we go to 18, and I probably made that a little more complicated than it needed to be. Let's do the mirror one more time. I'm going to highlight that endpoint and delete the coincident relation. And I'm just going to draw the little notch out because the front, we can pick up that geometry pretty easily. And if I just select, control select, and mirror the entities, yeah, I'm making that more complicated than it needs to be. So we're at 18, and then we'll go to 22. And what happened to my angle? So let's see how this moves. All right, so the 18, and 18 on the front, and 13, let's see, looking back over here, 13 on the outside edge was what I was missing. So let's go 13 here. All right, that gets it fully defined. We're going to extrude this back 45. Contour, let's just do everything. We can stay mid-plane if I wanted the part to be at the bottom center for whatever reason. Oh, and my contour didn't quite go all the way around, so... Oh, and it jumped into thin feature. So if you see thin feature, yeah, no, we don't want to do thin feature. So let's go ahead and clear the selections. Thin feature is trying to stay on, so if that stays on, we're going to clear it out. Okay, and it did not get the front there, so let's make sure we get those two included. All right, so we have a complete angle. And then I'm going to share the sketch. We're going to go into the cut extrude. And what I mean by sharing the sketch is by picking that same geometry and then picking the two regions, I need to tell it to come out to the end. And I could try to do an offset from surface. Let's go ahead and pick that surface. And it comes back 10 millimeters. And when I reverse the offset, okay, so it's just coming from that point. So that's not really what I want. So observing that in condition, what I do want is the from. And the from and the to's pretty much allow me to pick a surface and say, take this sketch geometry, put it out here, and when I reverse it, go the other way. So I have those logical combinations of to be able to generate that geometry. When I'm doing the sketch, I would like to see the geometry that I created previously. So when we make the side profile, I'm going to go into the right plane. And since I put the notch in, I know that that's the back, so that is helpful. 3, Control 4. We're doing the display, so Control 1, Control 2, Control 3, Control 4, Control 5, 6 is the bottom, 7 is isometric, and 8 is normal 2 and requires a selection. So not quite getting that one, so let's go back to Control 4, pick up that edge, bring it down and back over. Pretty sure I don't want to be at the midpoint though. All right, and then that line, and because that point can be projected into the sketch, we can still make those coincident. All right, so my dimensions are going to be 10 millimeters on the front, 105, and again, because of the projection, that edge can be made parallel or made to act like it's in the sketch, and when I pick the non-parallel line, it's going to give me the angle. So I don't necessarily have to close this off. I could make the two other lines, but we can cut extrude with an open sketch. So I want to do through all both, and then there's going to be a little arrow. So we have the arrow that's going to tell me leave this, take this away, or if I flip the side to cut, take this away, leave this, and I can also click the arrow in the work area to get a desired result. Okay, we'll go back and we'll hide the sketch, and then we'll make sure to save our geometry. I think I got everything in there. All right, so I created my new folder. I'm gonna give this the name, and we're ready for the next part.